Shout out to Hispanics causing panics.
Shout out to Hispanics causing panics.
Hispanics causing panic. I'm glad to be here.
Hispanics are causing panic, baby. Let's do it.
Niggas be getting punished. How the fuck you swallow your fear? Knife in your stomach. Motherfucker, the hunter became the hunted. Full price, a nigga never was fronted.
Death come in many forms. So how the fuck you gon' run from the reaper? When niggas know when you rush your head, you catch you sleeping. Won't stop hunting till motherfuckers stop breathing. Death come in many forms. So how the fuck you gon' run from the reaper? When niggas know where you're at.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us. Real quick live we want to do here. We want to talk about these fights over the weekend aftermath. A lot of fights, a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of shit happened. Big fight week coming up as well, so we figured we'd do something real quickly. What's going on, D? How you doing, man?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, man, that Zepeda and Boots fight. I mean, those fights are so long. I mean, man, Jesus Christ, are those dudes in a hurry or what? Like they wanted to make it for trick or treating, or whether I gotta get the hell out of here? You know what I mean? I got a party to go to. Okay, let me knock this dude out.
Yeah,
and I'm out. Peace.
That's what I was gonna say. Must have been those Halloween parties out there. They
a lot of Halloween parties. See Zepeda, he kept telling, what's his name? I can't hear you. What? Like he wanted to leave, bro. He was like, yo, I'm ready to go. Like I knocked this dude out. I didn't hear your question. What?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. A couple of first rounders. A fight of the year candidate was the co-feature on
literally a couple. Yeah, two of them.
Yeah. The co-feature on the ESPN card was a candidate for fight of the year, in my opinion. I want to say what's up to everybody here. Round one, Zepeda looked amazing for a few seconds. Then we got to see him fight. Prime fighting champions, Virgil Cheese, Hispanic Cause of Panic. Oh, he's number one in the WBC and WBO. Okay, nice. Boxing Republic, what's going on, Nancy? How you doing? The GOAT is here. Let's see. This guy playing games like always. Boxing Historian, what's going on, man? So, look, real quick, man, let's talk about the PBC card. Michel Rivera is the opening card, or the opening fight on that card. Whitewashes Matisse, or what's his name? Matisse.
So let me give you my boxing fan card here. I got it here somewhere. I did not have time to watch this fight, so I want you to go ahead and take my card, G Funky. Here you go. All right, there you go. All right, and I've not had a chance to watch this fight.
Yeah, it was a busy night last night, man. I mean, I don't understand boxing. They do this, they counter program. Boxing doesn't need that. They need all the viewership that they can get, but us as boxing fans, we do what we got to do. We try to watch all the fights as much as we can. Fistiana's here. What's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Fotex Butaev put an ass whooping on Jay. He absolutely did, man. That was a brutal fight. But look, I want to just mention real quickly about Rivera because his fight was really not competitive. I like what I see in the kid. He was able to control that distance with his jab. Good jab on the outside. Romero's only chance was just to try to attack and ambush him when he had the chance. And it didn't work out. He got outpointed pretty cleanly. And, I'm ready to see Rivera against, I'm not saying champions or anything like that, but I'm ready to see him take that next step in competition. Do you agree with that, D-Style? Would you like to see that?
I agree. I think a perfect fight would be Rivera against Isaac Cruz. I think that's a good fight that could be made. Remember that Isaac Cruz is, first of all, a hell of a puncher. We know he took out Magdaleno in the first round, but against the same opponent, Isaac Cruz had a much, tougher outing against him. And, at least from what I saw on the scorecard wise, right? I did see the Isaac Cruz fight. I think him, Isaac Cruz, There's a couple more guys around that right below the champions that can definitely be fighting each other. But here's the problem, G Funky. We got guys that are so-called champions that aren't fighting anybody either, right? In fact,
Yep.
the top guys at lightweight are not fighting each other. So maybe they should fight. At least give Rivera a shot. At least give Isaac Cruz a shot. At least fight these guys. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. Because one part of me says, yeah, let's do an Isaac Cruz Rivera fight, or guys at that level, right? And what I mean by that, are where they are at the moment. I'm not talking about their capabilities, right? But the other side of my brain tells me, why should these guys kill each other while the dudes at the top aren't fighting each other for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they're not fighting each other, what the hell's going on over here? So the way I see it, I think Rivera, I'd like to see him fight one more fight before he challenges one of these like second tier champions. But to be honest with you, I mean, I'm ready to see Rivera, definitely be at least 1 or 2 fights away from a title shot. Extremely talented fighter. So shout out to him. And the same with Isaac Cruz, the same with some of these other guys up and coming, man. Watch out because they're coming. All right. I'm just letting you guys know. I'm just letting the current crop of champions know right now. And that's no knock to Teofimo, because a lot of this was not his fault with Triller and all that. It just wasn't. But I think Teofimo's going to end up moving up, G-Funky. I think even Haney, for all the talking they're doing, they're going to end up moving up anyway to 140. And that's going to leave a lot of these belts to get scattered. And I do see Rivera capturing one of those belts. The same with Cruz.
Yep. I agree, man. I would love to see him in there with somebody. Raw Boxing TV is here. Say everybody subscribe to Raw Boxing. Kid Top Skull is here. The GOAT. Thank you guys all for being here. I agree with everything you said, man. 100%. Puro Sur Central's here. I want to read this comment here because we're going to talk about this fight next. Ace 144. Boots fought on old Dulorme, who lost 2 in a row and been knocked out before. Boots needs to step up. So what do you think of that comment, man? Do you agree with that comment?
Well, you're talking about the one about Boots fighting old Dulorme?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's all be honest, right? And I don't know why people can't be honest. Like this is what like kind of bothers me a little bit, right? So let's be honest. Dulorme was coming off not 1 but 2 back-to-back losses. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Dulorme is not the same Dulorme from 5-6 years ago, much less 9 years ago. He just isn't. Let's just be honest about that. Now, that doesn't mean that it was not an impressive victory. It was, okay? Boots did even better than I thought. I thought he would take him out in 4 or 5 rounds, and I was still kind of way off, right? So he beat him in spectacular fashion, but I'm not going to overlook the 2 right hands that landed, okay? You could take him for as much grain of salt as you want, but sometimes enough salt is enough salt. He beat Dulorme. Like, he didn't beat one of the top guys. So let's act that way. You know what I mean? So good win by Boots. I'm excited to see what's next for Boots. Boots says he's ready for Spence, and I'm all for it. If he wants to fight Spence, let him fight Spence. I feel the same way with the Virgil Ortiz, but at the end of the day, he beat Thomas Dulorme. That's what he beat. All right. So I want to remind everybody that a lot of aging champions have been beat in spectacular fashion, in the past. Right. I mean, this is what's supposed to happen to them. Right. And while that's not a bad thing, I mean, Boots did what he was supposed to do. That's a good thing. That means he passed the test with flying colors. But, let's be honest. He's not going to be destroying the top guys in 1 round. Okay. So the challenges it's only going to get tougher moving forward. If he does destroy all the top guys, if he goes in there and does that to fucking, to any of the top guys, Spence included, yes, then I would be like, holy shit. You know what I mean? But right now, I take it as a good victory. And first round knockouts, as you could see, a fight that happened at the exact same time could only tell us so much. I mean, Zepeda won in the first round as well, so take it for what it is.
Yep, I agree, man. Let me read a couple comments here. Let's see. Prime Fighting Champion says Boots landed a shot behind the ear that was then the end for Dulorme. Dulorme landed 2 good shots, a little more power, might have gone differently. I mean, yeah, we just never know. And I mean, look, Boots got hit plenty of times against Lipinets as well. You know, we'll just go back and look at that fight. Now, again, he beat the hell out of him, but still, he's been getting hit. And the thing is this, when other guys get hit, it's a big deal. But when Boots does, it's not. High Low, what's going on, man? It's G Funky, the home of boxing. That's right, man, with the $2 super chat. Appreciate
what's going on.
that.
High Low, boxing is spoken with Estilo. I wanted to add one more thing.
Go ahead.
I don't like to say this, but a lot of people will be like, "Oh no, be an optimist style, or don't be a pessimist." I'm not an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. Okay, so Dulorme quit, bro. Okay, he got up just in time for the first knockdown. He walked away from the ref. Okay, he looked like he was not inspired to continue, but the ref let it continue. That's not a problem. I don't have an issue with that. I'm not starting another count gate, okay? But, and I have something else to say about the other fight too, about the count, which I don't see any outreach about. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, people they're not paying that much attention. But
yeah,
if he wanted to, he could have gotten up. He could have beat that count. He tried to make it seem like he got up and the ref stopped it, right? You hurt 10, and then you try to get up. Okay. So, and it's okay if he didn't want to continue. Some people don't like to hear the word quit and, don't say quit. Okay, I won't say quit. Okay. It looked like he was not inspired to continue. Okay. Mm-hmm. The fire was not in there anymore. Dulorme looked like he was definitely discouraged. I think that should tell us something about Boots and his power, right? But I think it also tells us about Dulorme and where he is. Like, bro, you don't want to get up against a dude that you were hitting with the right hand, right?
Yeah.
He got hit just like you got hit. And, of course, you went down. But I think Dulorme is a finished fighter. That's what I saw.
Yep. Ace144 says, Boots did what he's supposed to do and did it well. Just want to see him step up. And then they're saying he's ready and he can't beat all 147-pounders. Ortiz beat Mean Machine, 5 knockdowns. They say he's not ready. I mean, look, here's the thing. Let them say what they want to say. We know they don't know shit about boxing anyway. Who's more proven at this point in their career? Obviously, Virgil Ortiz. He's fought the better competition. He's been in situations where we've seen him hurt. He's recovered, and he's come back to stop that same guy. Like, we haven't seen that with Boots yet. And look, here's the thing. I want to give him his credit for knocking out Dulorme and doing what he was supposed to do in there. That's what you're supposed to do with these type of opponents. And we complained about him fighting Dulorme last week because we didn't want to see this fight. There's no reason for him to fight this guy. He's just coming off of 2 losses, And I feel he probably would have beaten James pretty convincingly if he had fought James yesterday. But I think it would have been a more competitive fight. But look,
maybe
he did exactly.
I mean, he couldn't have been any less competitive, right?
Right. And he did what he was supposed to do against this guy. Got him out of there quickly. And that's what I like because, again, to me, the fight was just a waste, But I do like the kid, man. And I've said this before. I really like the kid. We obviously see a lot of special things as far as the eye test goes, but I need to see that test in the ring, We need to see that test, and it's that time for him. You know what I'm saying? It's that time for them to put him in there with somebody that can really test him, And the main event, I believe the guy's name was Butaev, something like that. Took on James, who again beat Dulorme 2 fights ago. Should have been fighting Boots last night, didn't. But this dude beat the hell out of James, and they stopped the fight. And I think it was a good stoppage, in my opinion. I didn't give James not 1 round. I felt like the dude, was coming in there. He said, "You know what? I'm going to come in here. I'm going to stick my chin out there, throw shots, and see what happens, man." And he got the better of James. James just, he just could not stand up. I shouldn't say stand up, but he just couldn't take it anymore. I felt like he said he wanted to go out on his shield, but he's getting hit with way too many clean shots, and I feel like it was a good stoppage by the referee. I don't think he had enough power to change anything in there. He would have just continued to take unnecessary punishment for the rest of the fight, and I think it was a good stoppage, man. What did you think of that fight, D-Style?
Look, the Russian Butaev, I think, went in there and beat the hell out of Jamal James.
Beat him up pretty good, man.
He just mugged him. That's what he did. And I'll tell you what, G-Funk, the reason I didn't give a prediction for this fight is I didn't know anything about Butaev. That's why. Right? I don't do these things where if I don't take the time to research a fighter, look at them and see what they got to make a reasonable prediction, I don't make one. Okay. So I just said, okay, well, all I said about the fight was Jamal James is fighting this Butaev guy to see what he's got, right? And I got to tell you right now, this is why the whole who are they? And nobody knows who they are. And he's a Euro bum. That's why it doesn't matter. Did it matter that he was from Europe and he was Russian when he went in there, dominated Jamal James and destroyed him? No, it didn't, right? So I mean, at the end of the day, it just didn't matter. Okay. And because nobody knows who he is, I don't know how much credit the guy's going to get. I saw people give him a good amount of credit, but at the end of the day, this should be the next fight for Butaev right here. I mean, why not? Let's just do that fight. I think that's an interesting fight. And if Butaev does the same thing to this guy, and I'm a little more of a believer at that point.
That'd be very impressive. Yes, that would be very
impressive. So this is the right path. There's only one thing I fucking despise about this. We all know who the real WBA champion is, and that's Ugas. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And of course, as we know, Ugas also beat Manny Pacquiao in case there was any dispute. He settled it like Razor Ramon did with Shawn Michaels back in the day. You know what I mean? Like they settled it. Who's the real champ, right? But at the end of the day, I just hate the fact that the WBA is double dipping in every fucking weight class, and people are walking around like the emperor has clothes on when he doesn't. Okay. Like the WBA is allowed to do whatever they want, and when the WBC does it in 1 or 2 weight classes, everybody loses their minds. Okay. Now I'm not justifying when the WBC does it, but I'm not justifying when the WBA does it. I am sorry, and it's no offense to this Butaev guy, nor to James for him, nor to Tank, nor to any other WBA regular champion. You're not a champion. Okay, you're not. You're a second-tier champion. Okay, if you want to call yourself that. Okay, you're like the intercontinental guy. You know what I mean? You could be that, right? Okay, you're the silver champion, whatever you can call it, whatever you want, but you're not the world champion of that sanctioned body. That's Eugenijus Ugas. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. We need to start having respect for the real champions in the weight classes. Okay, if I need to hear one more time people make the biggest fucking deal, okay, because Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko for the franchise belt, okay, which is it makes the WBC its regular, right? If I need to hear nonstop about that, he's not the real champion. The real champion's then you know what? Let's stay consistent across the board. Tank's not a real champion. Butaev, I'm sorry, you're not a real champion either. Okay, no, there's no WBA regular champion that fucking matters, and at least not me. I don't recognize any of them as real world champions. I just don't. I am sorry, and I know what people are going to say. Oh, D-Style, how can you take away from their accomplishment? And I'm not saying they can't look at it as an accomplishment. What I'm saying is, it's not the ultimate prize. You want the ultimate prize? There's a guy called Ugas from Cuba, and he's the real WBA champion. You want that strap? You go beat him for it. Okay, that's what he did when he beat Manny Pacquiao. Okay, that's why he said, I want to prove I'm the real WBA champion. And that's why after the fight, he said, who's the real WBA champion? I'm the real WBA champion after he won that fight. And those words mean something. Heed those words. All right, you want to be a champion? Go beat Ugas. That's all I got to say.
I agree, man. The belts, too many, man, too many, and we know who the real ones are. So let's not act like we don't. We got a Caleb Plant pick here by the GOAT. He says once Canelo finds out who Plant is, it'll be too late. Plant by UD. Wow. You know, I just want to say this, man. Look, I really liked what I seen from Butaev. Hopefully, I'm saying it right. I don't think that I am, but
Hey, I
you
know it's
know,
gonna last with that last name. I'm just telling you right now.
H Money Boxing in the house, man. Make sure you guys subscribe to H Money.
Just joking.
Um, but you know what? He's a dog, and somebody said it earlier in the chat. He's definitely a dog, and these are the type of guys that will give the guys that pass the eye test the most trouble. I think. That's what I really think. And I would love to see him fight Boots. I would love to see how Boots handles that kind of pressure from a guy who, continues to come and come and come. You know what I'm saying? And,
Yep.
I would love to see that, man. He says he's joking. Okay, it's fine. No sweat. But look, speaking of pressure, to me,
This beard, by the way, all bullshit aside, Lone Star, or the Lone Star State, the best state in the entire United States. You know what I mean? The only state in the entire United States that was its own country at one point is what I'm talking about right here. Okay.
But like I said, speaking of pressure, we had a really good fight on the co-feature on the ESPN Plus card with Carlos Caraballo versus Jonas Sultan. Really good fight. 10 rounds, a lot of action, a lot of knockdowns. Like I said, a good candidate for fight of the year. Alexis here with the $2 super chats. HTP, love you guys. Hey, thank you so much for the support. We appreciate all the support from you guys. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button as well. All right. But yeah, there was a lot of talk. We had a subscriber who's a big supporter of HTP, Puerto Rican Rum, who's, he comes here often. He was telling us about this kid. And this was my first look at him. But I had heard from other channels as well, other content creators out there that were saying that this guy was the real deal. He is what Lomachenko was supposed to be, things like that.
Okay.
Now, I mean, yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. But look, I want to say this. This was a good example of what I was talking about with a lot of fighters. Like when we talked about Shakur Stevenson versus Jamel Herring, I said, this is what I kept saying post-fight, is that Herring's only chance to catch Stevenson with something big is to try to force exchanges. And we hear that phrase often. We also hear make it a dog fight, which basically the same thing. Make the guy fight you. Make the guy throw more punches. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what Sultan did last night with Caraballo. Because if you look at it again on paper and you look at the eye test, right, we see Caraballo, who's, again, really good southpaw, got the fast hands, the movement, the angles, the combinations, all that type of stuff. And then you look at Sultan and you're like, then you do that again if you look at his resume and his record. But again, his game plan was to go in there, make it a dogfight, force exchanges, right? And he got the job done. I think we knocked Caraballo down 4 times. Caraballo came back, hurt him a lot. And yes, there he is right there, the Sultan from the WWF days.
Oh, man.
That's him. But, again, every time, and I'm going to give you the example. I'm going to give you this example. I got clips for you to prove it. This is what I mean by forcing exchanges. When you're in there with a guy who's more talented than you, more faster than you, better defensively than you, right? You got to go in there and force those exchanges. You got to understand you're going to get hit. Okay, this is boxing. You're going to get hit. So you can't be afraid to get hit. Stick your chin out there and punch when this guy punches. Punch with him. That's what you got to do. And that's exactly what Sultan did last night. And that's why he got the win, man. And I thought it was a pretty impressive win myself, man. What'd you think of that fight, D-Style?
I thought it was a great look. I'll be honest. I did not expect this result, right? I mean, I just didn't. I had questions about Carlos Caraballo, but I wasn't. I didn't think this would be the one. I just didn't, if I'm honest, right? So I don't want a Monday morning quarterback and be like, oh, I knew this was going to happen, because that totally was not what I thought was going to happen. I didn't give an official prediction for this fight because I honestly, I'll admit it, I thought it was a foregone conclusion he was going to win this fight. You know, I thought it was a showcase fight for him so he could look good, and that's that. I just thought that's what I expected going in, right? Sultan did everything, okay, that you mentioned. Jonas Sultan went in there. You know what happened, Chief Funky? He didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know the memo, like, hey, you were supposed to lose. You were supposed to make him look good. You know, you were supposed to be the jobber tonight, bro. You were supposed to be the Brooklyn Brawler in Brooklyn. You know, like that's what you were supposed to do. Well, it wasn't in Brooklyn though, but nonetheless, Queens, whatever, right? Wherever it was, Bronx. It's in the Bronx, right? The Hoodoo Theater.
But Manhattan, Madison Square Garden. I think it's in Manhattan.
All right, fair enough. I apologize. I just insulted like all New York at once. Like, you know what I mean? But I apologize. But nonetheless, this is why we fight the fights, right? If we just judge him by eye test, we would just have him like shadow box and hit the mitts, and then we would just rank him like that. Like, oh, he's the best. Look at those skills. And they just write it down. You know what I mean? Well, we don't do it like that. You actually got to go into the ring. And we talked about this off the phone, Chief Funky. Or off the phone, on the phone, offline. Anyway, but we talked about this on the phone. And I think a lot of people miss a lot of things. They look at these fighters like if they're like machines that don't feel pain, that don't get tired, that don't have a limited gas tank, right? That don't have a subconscious mind, a conscious mind, okay, that don't think in there, that can't get mentally exhausted, not just physically exhausted, right? Like when we think of them like that, you know, and there's just more to boxing than that. Like there's the thing called determination, okay? The will to win, like being like taking more el corazón, your fucking heart. You know what I mean? Your mental toughness. Like, you know, a lot of people call it the dog in you. Like this is all those are factors that exist in fighting that just exist. That's why do you guys think that a much less skilled, far less skilled Carlos, Marcos, I'm sorry, Maidana was able to give Mayweather a great fight? And it wasn't because he matched him in skill. I could promise you that right now. That's not what it was, right? Like there is something to be said when the dude's still in front of you after you hit him with everything you got. There's something to be said about that. That is a real thing. And it happens in fights.
All the time.
Like it happens in fights. And the longer the fights go, the more that is a factor. There's a misconception. Like, look, Floyd Mayweather had toughness. He fought with a broken hand once. Okay? He just did. Andre Ward was a tough dude. There's a you know what I mean? So like you have to have those things. So that way when those moments come, you know how to deal with them. All right. Skill alone is not going to get you through everything. Athleticism isn't going to get you through everything. Those are things that help you. Athleticism obviously doesn't hurt. It can if you rely on it too much, though. What's going to happen when you fight somebody more athletic than you? What are you going to do? Right? What's going to happen when those athletic abilities and attributes start to go away? Right? So that's why I value skill over athleticism myself. Right? But at the end of the day, in this fight, we saw it. We saw what happened, right? Like take Lomachenko. You know when I knew Lomachenko was going to be the truth? It was actually in his loss to Salido. Because who was the one trying to survive in that 12th round? Salido was. A lot of people forget that, okay? This is only his second pro fight, and he had the veteran known for going through wars trying to survive the 12th round. After that, I said to myself, he's going to lose this fight, but he's going to grow from it. He did. He's going to get better from it. He did. And he went out there to school, okay, Gary Russell Jr. in his next fight to show that I am that dude that people said I was. And he continued on from there. Caraballo couldn't do this with a fighter that's not even 1/6 what fucking Orlando Salido was, okay? Not even 1/6 of what Orlando Salido would have brought. Imagine this was somebody like an Orlando Salido. He would have knocked Caraballo out. Okay? That's what would have happened. So
It'd have
there's
been
definitely
ugly.
more to boxing than. I'm not saying these things don't matter, guys. Of course, skill matters. Okay, but when your skills get tested, all right, when someone's digging at your body, when someone's eating punches just to dig to your body and to hit you back, punching with you, it's a whole different ball game. Like it just is, right?
It is.
So, and if
It
this
is,
didn't
man.
show anybody that, I don't know what, because not even I saw this coming, right? In fairness, but you saw what happened, right? So we can't crown guys. This is why we don't just crown somebody, right? And just dismiss fights that should be
Yep.
happening.
We don't do that
Point blank
around here,
period.
man. We don't do that around here. There's a lot of channels that do, and you know what? That's on them. You know, they want to go ahead and crown guys like Denny Green. You want to crown them, to crown their asses, all right? But we don't do that around here. And this is a good comment here by Gizzy Hizzy. Says Caraballo outboxed Sultan. He just couldn't handle the pressure. Sultan did a good job of cutting off the ring. Yep, and made it a fight. Because if he was gonna try to box with Caraballo, it would have been a 10-0 scorecard.
Right.
He'd won all 10 rounds, and there was a bad scorecard there. Chicano Prophet made a point up here too that I wanted to highlight as well before I show some of my highlights. Here we go. So people act like pure boxing skills is the only intangible in fights. That and athleticism. I mean, I don't know how many times we've talked about fights and it's been, well, this guy's more athletic. He's gonna beat him. Like, I'm sorry, that doesn't win you fights, man. It doesn't. People always want to leave out again the heart, the determination, the will to continue, the chin. You know, all these things help you in the fight. And again, if you could force those exchanges and you don't mind getting hit, you know, that's when we find out the truth about a lot of guys when they fight a guy like a Sultan. Now, look, I don't make this a crap on Caraballo session. He's still young. He can learn from this and come back. He might have to tweak a few things. But you know, he got his ass whooped last night. And then I want to show you guys an example of what I'm talking about, because I don't care about how skilled a guy is until I see them tested, you know? And I don't care how good of a defensive fighter you are. You cannot defend at the same time you're throwing a punch. That's just impossible. That's why guys like Sultan force exchanges, because you never know what could happen in the middle of an exchange. You just don't. So that's why you stick your hand in there and you see what happens. And I'm going to give you an example right here. This is the first knockdown right here. Check this out. Look. Bam. You see he caught him right as he was punching.
You know what he said right there?
A right hook, you know? Oh, go ahead.
You know what he told him?
Sit
your ass down. That's what he told him.
Let's watch it again one more time. You're going to see.
Boxing's a universal language, guys.
He's going to throw his right hook. Sultan's going to throw his right hook. And he caught him. And guess what? Caraballo went down. Look, there's the right. Here's my right. Bam. And you're down. That's what I mean by forcing an exchange with somebody. You got to be willing to let your hands go to catch them. Every great defensive fighter has been hit every time. And this is mostly the case. Anytime I've ever seen Floyd Mayweather hurt in a fight, it's been because he's been caught in the middle of something. Here's the second knockdown right here. Let's check it out. Now again, boom, you see both guys throwing a punch at the same time. Sultan's is harder. Caraballo goes down. Same exact thing. Every single knockdown was an exchange. Go ahead.
Caraballo just looked like he had never experienced something like he was just like, what the fuck? What's going on? He looked confused.
Yeah.
It's almost like he convinced himself that, okay, I'm more skilled, therefore I will win. Like, that's not quite how it works, you know? Like being more skilled gives you an advantage going in, but there's other factors in boxing, like how hard you hit and how good your timing is, and you know, like there's different skills in boxing. It's not just like how pretty your punches look and how you move and your footwork, and that's not the only skills in boxing, right? Like exchanging with guys and getting the best of them in exchanges is a skill, right?
It is.
So
I think it takes a special fighter to do that as well. to be able to take it on the chin and keep coming and giving something back. Here's knockdown number 3. Same exact thing. Let's check it out. Look at right in the middle of the jab. Boom.
Swing.
Right off the jab. He fires a straight right, which again is the best punch against a southpaw. But right off of that right jab, right off of the right jab, he throws his right straight down the pike.
Yo, he fell hard on the tailbone, bro. Look at this.
Boom. Yep.
Boom. Man.
That's what I mean. You got to be willing to try to exchange with guys, man. You can't just guys that are good defensively. You can't just play tag with them. The odds go down tremendously when you try to hit them that way. You gotta force exchanges, man. You just have to. Here's the last knock. Go ahead.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, here's the last knockdown of the fight right here. Now again, another exchange. Look at. You seen Caraballo was trying to throw his right hook, and he gets clipped with a left hook. Goes down.
Look how disappointed he looks. See that?
Every single knockdown of the fight was because he was getting hit while he was throwing a punch. And my friends, that beats skill, that beats timing, that beats speed every single time. But you got to be willing to go through that fire. Sultan was willing to go through that fire. And there's a lot of guys in the sport that are willing to go through the fire. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm telling you, that's how you have to do it, man. You got to be willing to take some to give some, man. You just have to.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I want to say this. Like, people look at it like, you know, what's a game that people compare boxing to a lot? Chess, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now in chess, I go, then you go. Then I go, then you go. Now, if I'm a better chess player than you, if I'm a chess master and you're not going to beat me that way. Okay, nope. You go, okay, now your turn. Okay, my turn, your turn. My turn, your turn, right? Well, in boxing, you can go whenever the fuck you want to go. Like there's no like, okay, I win, now you go. No, you can go and you can keep going, and they can't do shit about it. You keep going. Like that's what makes boxing different to chess, right?
Yep.
So if you could go whenever the fuck you want to go, why the fuck are you going to be waiting on the chess master? What are you doing? Yeah, why are you letting him go and then you go and then he goes? Why? Hey, man, you're going to turn around and the board's not be in your favor. And by the time you decide, okay, I'm going to go when I want to go, it's too late. They already got you in check, homie.
Yep.
And when they already got you in check, you're not in control anymore. And now you're moving and they're forcing you to move, okay, where you don't want to go anymore. And then it's going to be hard to get yourself out of that hole, okay?
Yeah.
When you're fighting a chess master, when you're fighting somebody that's better at chess than you, right? Then you need to just say, fuck it. I'm going to go when I want to go. You know what? I'm going to move the pawn right here. You can't do that. Yes, I can. Look, I'll move it right here too. I'm moving this one too. Yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? Well, I'm going to take your pawn. That's okay, but that's going to leave me this open to get this shit. Let's go. Right? That's what you got to do. You got to be willing. You have to be willing to get hit. But you know what? Sometimes it's about leverage. Okay. It's about positioning. And if you could position yourself in a way where your opponent, even though they hit you, it's more of an arm punch or a get off me punch. Oh, at that point, if you have the leverage and you nail them, that's what happened here, right? You're going to be knocking them down. You're going to be hurting them. And before you know it, it's going to turn the whole fight around. And if you hit the body, guess what? Those fast guys become a lot slower. Okay?
Yep.
If you start hitting them and they don't like it, guess what? They're going to become tentative and not want to throw as much. Their offense is going to start to deplete, right? So a lot of things will change immediately. You know what I mean? So AHCZ, you're right. Chess is about strategy. And you do got to be 2-3 steps ahead, right? But that's the problem. If you go tick for tack, you go, then I go, okay, my turn, your turn. My turn, your turn, right? If you're going to do it that way, you're never going to beat a chess master. It's never going to happen.
Never.
That's what Canelo tried to do against Floyd.
Yep. Tony Boswell in the house, big supporter of HCP. Appreciate you being here, man. Puerto Rican rum. Yeah, we're talking about your boy, man, Caraballo, who fought last night. And look, I said this, you know, before I started to go into my highlights. Look, he can learn from this. He's still young. I know he's right here. He says I was disappointed, but I'm not giving. No, and nobody should give up on him yet. He's still young. This was only his 15th fight. He can learn from this and come back. But I just feel like he's gonna have to tweak a few things for sure. The
If he
bantamweight
learns from this,
division.
Funky, it's better for him in the long run. Okay.
Yep.
Just like I feel that first loss of Juan Manuel Marquez's career in his first fight was probably the best thing that could have happened for him in the long run. That first loss in Bernard Hopkins' career, right? The first fight of his career. It probably was the best thing that could have happened in the long run. You know what I mean?
Yep. Very
So
much.
if he learns from this, okay, this fight, this loss, right, will teach him more than beating up on another 10 dudes and making it look easy. It's going to teach him more. It's going to make him a better fighter in the long run if he learns from it. For sure.
You learn from the loss. It's not a loss. I mean, technically it is, but again, you can gain something from it. So I'm not going to give up on him as well. Ace 144. I agree with this as well. You got to go through fire to become refined as gold. Absolutely. That's how gold becomes pure. They burn it, they melt it, they get rid of all the impurities, and it becomes gold. You know what I'm saying? So again, he can learn from this. I really like what I've seen from him. He is very skilled. It's just, he's going to have to avoid exchanges like this. He's going to have to do a better job of avoiding those type of exchanges. And I think he should be all right. Raw boxing is a loss in boxing should be a path to learn. Absolutely. And we don't give up on guys around here, man. Let those other guys do that. When, a guy takes a loss, oh, now he ain't shit. Now he's a bum. Like, no, we're not going to do that around here. We never will do that around here. All the greatest fighters. I mean, you can go through the top 50 fighters. They all got losses. Every single one of them. So, it is what it is, man. Again, learn from it and come back stronger. So let's talk about the main event now on the ESPN Plus card. A lot of bad blood. A lot of bad blood.
Long, man, that fight was so long, bro. God damn.
Yeah, man. A lot of bad blood going into this fight. Obviously a rivalry. Mexico contra Puerto Rico. Always a good rivalry, And there was a little bit of little brouhaha that happened at the press conference, or the weigh-in, I should say. And
the lead-up, bro.
And
let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
Well, Joshua Vargas saw the Baranchik fight and was like, "Oh, I see something. I want him. I'm going to use him as a stepping stone." And like this dude said he was going to use him as a stepping stone. Oh, it's going to be an easy fight. I'm just using him to go on to bigger, better things. Dude. And at the press conference, by the way, I think it's bullshit that they threw out Zepeda's father, but not
that was ridiculous.
Like, you know what I mean? Because they were all equally at fault. Like,
involved,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like that was bullshit, man. That's
and it was Vargas that was the aggressor at first, really, if we're honest. But nonetheless, if you're going to suspend one, suspend the other, okay? But or don't suspend any at all. Like nothing like happened. Like they could have just let it. Like, you know what I mean? So anyway, Vargas was talking a lot of smack, bro. Like he was talking about Zepeda, okay? Like, dude, all right. Zepeda was. I mean, Vargas was talking about Zepeda like Zepeda ain't shit, right?
Yep.
So if Zepeda ain't shit and he knocked you out in the first round, what does that say about you then? Okay, this is why dudes got to be careful with the things they say about fighters and their opponents, right? Like I'm just saying, he was talking a lot of crap, bro. I'm just saying.
A lot.
He was being extremely disrespectful. He got in front of him and put the Puerto Rican flag in front of him and shit to cover his face. So he kind of moved to get in front of him, and then the whole thing happened. Cool, a little petty, I guess. I'll admit. But nonetheless, like they throw his brother out. So Zepeda's going in there like I feel like the worst thing he could have done is give him a chip on his shoulder. Like, you know what I mean? Because the one thing Zepeda told himself going into this fight was, I'm not going to lose any focus against this motherfucker. You know what I mean? I'm going to go in. I'm not going to lose focus. I'm going to execute, and then we'll see what happens, right? And we saw what happened.
Yeah, this is what happened. One round, one big left from Zepeda lands right on the chin, and Josue Vargas never recovered from it. The legs were bad. And again, this goes back. I want to mention this because I've been telling a lot of
straight will
people
beat a looping punch any day.
every time. But with this whole Fury thing and him, people claiming that he was knocked out. This is casual people that, and I'm not talking about any content creators, but they were like, oh, well, why was he down for so long? And like, look, a lot of times fighters are trained. You go down, take the 8. Don't jump up right away. I think this was another good example of that. He tried to get up too quickly. Legs weren't there. Falls back down. Now the referee would have been in there in right to have to said, you know what, that's it. I'm stopping it right here. Now it ended up being stopped, about 30 seconds later. But again, this is why, you don't panic, man, when you get hit. Fury does a good job of that. And a lot of fighters should practice this as well. Just stay down. Okay, I got dropped. Okay, I'm going to stay down. I'm going to take as long as I can. Take the 8 seconds. Try to gather my legs. Get up.
8 count, not 8 seconds. 8 count, but I got you.
Yeah, the 8 count. Yeah. And
even G-Funk, you said it was seconds. I could see those videos coming.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. But yeah, one big left like this hurts him, never recovers. And that was it for the main event. Josue Vargas, and look, I want to say this as well. I thought this was a 50-50 fight going into it. And my reasons for it was because of the way that Zepeda looked against Hank Lundy. Now, I know he said what he said before the fight starts. I wasn't inspired. I didn't get up for Hank Lundy. Look, you need to get up for every fight, man, because you just never know what could happen, So I'm not giving him a pass for that. Like, he looked like shit against Hank Lundy. I thought maybe that Baranchik fight did take something out of him from that performance. You know what I'm saying? He had a tough fight against Baranchik. He was dropped several times. And then he fights Hank Lundy, doesn't look good. So I'm like, man, it's a 50-50 fight. I don't know. But I did want Zepeda to win. I did pick him to win. I did not expect this, though. I did not expect a 1-round knockout. But yeah, a lot of drama happened in the lead up. A lot of drama happened after the fight. But you know what? He's gonna have to do the same thing as Caraballo. Take it on the chin, come back and try to learn from this. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny you bring up the long count controversy. Look, most refs would have stopped it when he stumbled back down and fell.
Yes, okay? A lot of fights would.
In fact, some states, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't mind being corrected, but if I'm not mistaken, if you get up and fall back down, in a lot of states and countries, they just stop it. Okay, that's what happened with Judah and Kasazu. He fell back down. That's why they stopped it. It's a rule. Yep. Now the ref used a judgment call and said, you know what? It's only the first round. Like, it's the main event. So if he could still beat the 10 count, I'll let it continue, and I have no beef with that. But could you imagine? Could you just imagine if Tyson Fury would have gotten up, stumbled down, got him back up? Oh my God, the crying would have been unbelievable. Okay.
Yep.
But nonetheless, he got back up, and it's funny you mentioned the long count, bro. The way Zepeda landed that combination on Vargas against the ropes, and I invite anybody to look this up. Look up Jack Dempsey, Gene Tunney, the knockdown. It looked eerie similar to that combination he landed on Gene Tunney when he knocked him down. I swear to God, that's the first thing I thought about. I'm like, holy shit, that looks like Jam Dex. Like fucking Zepeda looks like Jack Dempsey right now, landing those combinations on Vargas. Holy fuck. And he dropped him, and I gotta say, man, really good finishing skills,
Yep.
Like a lot of that is a lost art, in my opinion. A lot of guys just aren't good at finishing, guys. They get careless. They start swinging wildly, and Zepeda stayed calm. He's like, I'm just going to get to him. I'm going to press him. I'm going to land these punches. And if I don't knock him out, it's okay. I'm still on the offensive. I'm landing punches on him. But he did take him out. I mean, the dude was out on his feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was out on his feet, and Zepeda said after the fight, I kind of knew he was done after that. Beautiful punch, by the way. And for those wondering, yes, Zepeda did say he called it a right hand. Okay. Yes, it's southpaw. Man. Yes, it's a straight left. But the reason he calls it a right, because that's just how it's just like another term for a straight, right? It's just a term we use in boxing. That's all it means.
Yeah, it happens. I do it all the time as well. You know, the southpaw thing. But look, this guy's on point today, man. Look, Vargas wasted too much energy on emotions, not focus. I agree with that. He came out throwing some hellacious combinations at Zepeda. Didn't land any of it, but I felt like he was just too amped up. He was too emotional.
Stay
And
calm. Zepeda
that
did.
that could hurt. That could come back to haunt you, man. That's what I think happened here. If you go back and look at the first knockdown when he hit that left on the chin, he was loading up on his punch. He literally dipped down, and when he dipped, now again, that's good form. You know, you want to when you throw a power shot, you want to dip and generate that power. But the problem is he dipped down and dropped his hands, and boom, he got clipped, and that was it. Fight was pretty much over at that point. And too much emotions, I believe. Too much emotions from Vargas, in my opinion. Raw Boxing says Vargas saw 5 Zepedas in the ring. Yeah, he was out of there, man. Couldn't clear the cobwebs.
There's 5, which is the one in the middle. Like,
yeah.
God damn.
And even if he did take the 8 count, I still don't think he would have survived because those legs were bad. The legs were very bad. And you know, it is what it is, man. We're gonna have to mark it on the win column for Mexico against Puerto Rico, you know, which is, you know, hey, it's a good rivalry, man. And I seen Puerto Rican Rum's chat earlier where he said I had to take a bunch of phone calls from my Mexican friends. It happens, bro, you know, but you know what? Just hang in there, man. You know, we all got to take him on the chin. We all got to take him on the chin every now and then, you know. And,
just don't take it serious when you're winning, and then act like it's not that serious when you lose. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's quite
like if you're gonna have fun with it, have fun with it. If you don't, then don't. Okay. All right. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But I'll be honest though. Like, I know Chicano said, like, oh, he got hampered when the Puerto Rican Mexican rivalry thing. I mean, this is just me. I don't really buy into it unless it's a world title fight. You know what I mean? That's when I get amped for it. And you know what I mean? If it's not a world title fight, like, I'm not saying it doesn't matter or whatever, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's just, I'll watch it anyway because I'm a boxing fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, it wasn't really the Mexican. To me, it was this loudmouth that was really disrespecting a veteran fighter, man, that he should have had more respect for.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned championship fights. Let's talk about it before we wrap it up because our friends over at Ringside Reporter are live right now. But he mentioned Josh Taylor for an undisputed at 140 pounds. I think that's a terrific fight. I do. Zepeda gave Ramirez all he could handle in their fight. Some argue he won that fight. Some argue he won. A friend of mine was the glove inspector for Ramirez in that fight. So told me the same thing when he was watching it there. I think that's a fantastic fight. If we get this Zepeda, a focused Zepeda, right? Not the one from Hank Lundy, okay? But this one here, and again, he should be plenty fresh. 1 round here. I mean, not even a half a round he went in this fight. I would love to see that fight. God, that's a good fight. What do you think, man? Not a prediction, but just your thoughts about that fight possibly happening next year.
I think it's a good fight. I think it's a good fight. It's a good title defense for Taylor. I mean, it's a name for Taylor if he wants to take it, and obviously it's a name for Zepeda. I think he has earned a shot, and you heard him. You know, he said, "I'm not taking anything less than a world title shot." That's what he wants, and it's an easy fight to make. They're both with Top Rank.
Yep.
You know, and this is old school, man. This is the way it should be. Like a reigning world champion won, because Tank ain't no champion in this division. I'll tell you that right now, right? Well, there's one world champion, and he defends it against the contenders. And Zepeda at this point, you could aside from Ramirez, but like Taylor already beat Ramirez, right? So he's the number 1 contender. I mean, this is some old school shit. You know, give him a shot, and why not? You know, I mean, I say do it. I think he's earned it. And in the meantime, the winner of that fight could fight, Teofimo Lopez if Lopez moves up. Like, you know what I mean?
Ooh,
I mean,
man.
we have a lot of fights that we can do. So I'm looking forward to it. He's earned the shot. Well, whether he beats him or not, I'll leave that for when
the fight's
official.
Actually made. Yeah. But I agree with you 100%. He's earned it. He's earned his shot. He's fought just about everybody he could fight at 140 as far as Top Rank is concerned. You know, the two champions were a top rank. They fought each other, and now Josh Taylor is the undisputed junior welterweight champion of the world. And look, I want to give him a lot of credit, man. He's taken on a mandatory, which I don't mind. You know, he just fought for all the belts, so I don't mind him taking on the mandatory. Let's get that out the way, and then take on Zepeda because he's earned it, man. You know, and I love the fact that Josh Taylor is staying at 140 and is the reigning undisputed champion. A lot of the times we see guys move out of the division when they get all the belts, which is fine if they want to go to the money division, which is 147. But he's decided to stay there, defend, and become the reigning undisputed champion. And if he takes on Zepeda, man, he's taking on all comers, man. You got to give him credit. I mean, he's fought Baranchik, he's fought Postal, he's fought Regis Prograis, he's fought Ramirez. Now, if he fights Zepeda, holy shit, man!
And I took Hussein Zepeda versus Prograis. Why
No.
not just do Zepeda against Tater, bro? Like,
No,
if Tater beats, Zepeda, then you could do Prograis against Tater. Like,
the rematch.
I mean, I don't see why should Zepeda or Prograis have to fight each other if in my opinion, they both, could put themselves in position to get a title shot. That's like the way it was done before, man. Like just give him a title shot, bro. Zepeda's earned it, in my opinion.
Yep, he certainly has, man. And look, guys,
and if he beats Tater, then Prograis could go fight Zepeda for undisputed. I mean, the fight could happen anyway, but we could start with Zepeda Tater, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree 100%, man. I like the fight. Great fight, and let's hope that we can get it worked out, man, after Taylor comes back and takes on his mandatory. Look, we're going to wrap this thing up. We wanted to come on here and talk about the fights from last night. Obviously, there was a lot of fights on, so we wanted to come and give our thoughts on it. Big week this week. Speaking of undisputed this Saturday, Canelo versus Plant, 168 pounds. History will be made. The first undisputed champion at 168 pounds. Big fight week. We're excited. So, again, we wanted to get this stuff out of the way so we can talk about other things leading into that fight. Because, again, it's a big fight week. So D-Style, go ahead and let everybody know what's on the horizon for you.
The only thing I could confirm for now, Thursday, the roundtable, we will keep you posted for anything else you got going on. Because I'm not sure at the moment. But Thursday roundtable for sure on my channel. Yep. We're going to have Sutter Kane on the roundtable. So that should be interesting.
Yep. And speaking of Sutter Kane, his album is out now. Make sure you go get it. I played it at the beginning of this show. Make sure you guys get that. Good stuff there. And I want to give the boys over at Al Chile some love right now. Chicano Prophet is in the chat. Chicano, put a link to your channel because I will be over there with those guys at 11 a.m. Pacific time to talk about they're going to do a rescore of the Canelo Austin Trout. They've invited me to come on to talk about it, so I will definitely be there. So I want all you guys to be there as well, all right? So when he puts that link in the chat, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I'll definitely be sharing it when I'm there. And again, it's fight week, baby. We're gonna do what we can. And yeah, that's right. Al Chile Boxing Talk is what they call it over there. You're gonna have to ask them about the name. I didn't come up with it, But yeah, that's what we got planned for right now. So again, everybody head over to Ringside Reporter. The link is in the chat. Head over to them. They're live right now. D-Style, anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in, man. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I should be on after Ringside Reporter. I'm not sure when, but I'll be on tonight live on my channel. You guys can tune in, man.
That's right. Make sure you don't miss that either. And if you're taking your kids out, make sure that you stay safe. Keep an eye on them. There's a lot of weird people out there on this night on Halloween. They try to prey on kids, so make sure that you're, be very safe with your children as well. There's the link right there to Chicano Prophet, so you can see me over there Tuesday morning. And that's it, guys. I want to thank you all for being here, and we'll be seeing you later on this week, man. We are out of here.
Peace.